as I've mentioned before, I was really just kind of programmed to think that I was a fat kid and that I was a fat guy, even though I hadn't always been really big. It was just it was ingrained in me so deeply, and as I became an adult into my early 20s, I started to gain a lot of weight, and I was from my late teens, early 20s, later 20s. I was 320 pounds at my heaviest. I had a 46-inch waist. I was a big dude. And there was no question why. I didn't work out because I was honestly just kind of embarrassed to even step foot in the gym. And uh, I guess I kind of carried it well. Everyone thought I was a football player, an athlete, or something like that. But honestly, I was just a big, broad, fat dude. And I ate like absolute junk. I smoked about a pack a day and was really just living a very unhealthy lifestyle. And at a certain point, I decided to make some changes. And I was maybe kind of having like an early midlife crisis. This is in my later 20s. And I'd worked my way up to working at a Porsche dealership and was selling cars there. And um, just wasn't happy. I'd kind of realized that selling nicer cars wasn't going to help me enjoy my job any more than um, I was in that industry. And I kind of purposely left that job, took a job as a night custodian at a local health club, along with some other part-time jobs just to kind of make ends meet. And it was a crazy change because I was internet sales manager at a Porsche dealership. I go and apply for this custodial position at a nightclub working nights. And the lady just looked at me like I had five heads, but she gave me the job. And because I explained to her that the way that I saw it is when I had first started selling cars almost 10 years earlier at this point, I didn't know anything about cars. And at this point, I'm working at a Porsche dealership and the Audi store. And at that point, I've got a lot of technical knowledge about cars. And I just felt like if I started working in a health club in any way, shape, or form, that eventually I'd start to learn more about health. And it was just kind of designed based on something that I'd had experienced already. Shit. And so I get 3 free personal training sessions, which at least made me feel like, okay, I have a little bit of direction and I can just have a few like set things to do when I go there. And at the time, my oldest was super young. And so I would drop her off at daycare and I would go to the gym. Well, I'd get out of work, I'd go home, get her, drop her off for daycare. And then um, I'd go back to the gym, meet my personal trainer for those first 3 sessions. And that just kind of set me going. And it just gave me at least some direction and some things to do. And I just went in, I did them. That shower ended up just feeling so great because I put the work in. There's no way around that. You have to put the work in. And so I'm sweaty, I'm tired, and I took a shower there, and that just felt so amazing. If you work out every day, if you push hard, I promise you, the faster you take a shower, the better it's going to feel. Something to do with toxins, endorphins, all those things. I don't know, but it's amazing, and that's kind of what got me hooked. And so I just really looked forward to having that feeling. I would have this wonderful exhale and walk out of that gym. It was still early in the day at this point, and just feeling like I had really accomplished something for the day. And physically, I felt great and I was clean and I felt amazing. And I just was chasing that. Even if I didn't have a super crazy hard workout, I would still go, and it just became a habit, right? I just started to go every single day and I started to notice changes fairly quickly. Another thing that I did is I cut out soda first thing. So don't even complicate it a lot. If you're at a point where you need to lose a lot of weight, small changes will make a massive difference. Don't psych yourself out – by looking at this massive amount of weight that you want to lose. just start something. Anything that you do, any little thing that you do, any whether it's cutting out soda or cutting out ice cream or cutting out carbs on certain days, even if you can't do it all the time, those small changes will make a huge, huge difference in a very short amount of time. Because also your body's not used to that. So it's actually going to react to it and you'll see a difference. And once you start to see some progress, that's when you really get motivated to keep going. And eventually that motivation will become a drive as you feel yourself starting to become a better version of yourself. And some crazy things will happen. It really started to reveal people around me that I don't even want to say didn't want to see me get better because I don't think it was that malicious, but I guess because I was making so many personal changes within myself, it did start to put some other people in kind of a weird energy as if they felt like there was some kind of something I was calling out in them. This is a known thing. It happens. People talk about it all the time. When you make changes, you're going to somehow offend other people. And you have to you have to accept that with grace, and you have to just recognize that that's showing you that these people just may not necessarily fit in your life moving forward. That doesn't mean that you have to lose love for these people. It just means that their influence and their effect just is not going to mix well with where you're trying to take your life. And I don't even want you to think negatively about it. Just understand and still love that person from afar, but just for your own health and your own well-being, be okay with moving beyond certain friendships or certain acquaintanceships, right? Because let's face it, everybody that we know is not a friend. Um, but I just kept at it, right? And the more consistent that it became in the gym, even though I wasn't doing anything crazy, I really just I it was almost subconscious that I started to make other slight changes in my diet. And and I would actually start to find new foods that I liked that I didn't know I liked. And um it really became an entire lifestyle shift. And you have to look at it that way. If you just look at yourself going on a diet for a certain amount of time, sure, it'll work, but it's not going to make a lasting change in your life. And that's well known at this point. I have to say that when I accomplished this, it wasn't necessarily so common. It's been, gosh, 15 years now. And it's been amazing to see how many examples there are of people actually doing this. And I just hope that having another one or having a perspective um, like my own can make any difference if you're thinking about making some kind of change. Because that was the first thing. It was the first thing that really showed me what I was capable of when I actually put my mind to it. And the way that life just kind of started to progress after that, I could have never imagined. But I never would have gotten to those places if I hadn't have made this change first. So that old version of myself was not going to get to the places that I did, and to where I'm at now. It required a higher version of who I was, and it was somebody that I could always see. I could always see this version of myself and the super lean version of myself that I'm not anymore. But I could always see that for some odd reason, as many times as I tried to convince myself that, hey, man, you're just a big guy. Like, don't worry about it. Um, I just couldn't let myself identify with that. I had this different vision of my life in mind. And at a certain point, I had to start to make even just incremental changes towards that. And over time, it compounds. People so often overestimate what we can do in a year, and we underestimate what we can accomplish in 5 and how fast that goes. Time moves fast, especially when you're doing anything with any kind of intention. Time will move fast. So just get started, make one little change, and then review it in a few weeks. You'll notice an impact. There's just no way that you will. As long as you're honest with yourself, no way that you won't. If you're honest with yourself, the small changes will equal big ones, and you'll be glad you did. Peace, peace. Hey, what's up? Just one sec. This podcast is produced by myself, edited by Jens Reyes, and theme music is produced by The Archetype. If you like this episode, please subscribe and share and leave us a rating. This helps us more than I can even express and allows us to provide more value. Thank you very much. Peace, peace.